Hello, Mr. Waran. Welcome on board.
Thank you.
Yes, yeah, Mr. Waran Shanmugam, welcome on board, and thanks for being with us today at Women of Essence episode. Right. First of all, BK Nair Resource is a consulting agency, and it focuses more on working with a lot of corporate firms as well as universities, colleges, and other alignment. And it focuses more on physiological, social kind of commitments, as well as aesthetic part in terms of image and personal branding. And it focuses more on helping the women outside there, especially those who are in underprivileged situation. And it is this event is more conducted in terms of workshop and also seminars, as well as a training session. So Mr. Waran Shanmugam is actually in the industry of corporate training for the past 23 years. Welcome on board, Mr. Waran, again, and thank you so much for being with us at Women of Essence today. And I'm so happy and glad Mr. Waran is a CEO of SET Academy, and he focuses as an NLP practitioner, focusing on emotional well-being, also physiological and also mental health of people outside there who need that at this moment or current of time. Right. Thank you, everyone, to stay tuned to us. This is going to be very insightful, and this has been this episode has been done by BK Nair Resources for many things, many helping part for the society, especially for the women outside there. And Mr. Waran is here today to help to open the eyes of many people outside there, because he's actually an awesome person who has his own experiential kind of situation where he helps a lot of people, especially women outside there. That's why I picked Mr. Waran to be on board, on live with us today. Thank you. Right. Mr. Waran, are you ready for helping us women to empower us in many perspectives, in all era, on all angles? Yeah. All right.
Always
so
ready.
welcome.
Always ready.
Thank you, Mr. Waran. So when coming to women empowerment, I believe that men has a bigger role, because when man supports the women in terms of growth, in terms of expansion, especially those in the household chores, and also economically, those who are working and they are having a family. So it is going to be a great version, because you are actually indirectly putting them in a different path for their growth. Right, Mr. Waran, what do you understand by women empowerment? Can you tell me?
Yeah, first off, thank you so much for BKNI Resources for having me, and also Yogeshwari, thank you so much. Yeah, we were connected very shortly, but then in a very short amount of time, but then we interacted well, and I think when you speak about women empowerment,
Yes.
Yogeshwari, I think it starts from you. I mean, whoever knows
All
you and
right.
those who are watching, I think women empowerment is it is about what you are doing here now with this show. The
All
fact
right.
of the matter is, if you are able to bring about some changes in your own ways, that means your
Yes.
ability,
Correct.
your talent, the way, the knowledge that you have, the experiences that you have, if you can put all that together and you
All
bring
right.
about some changes in a person's life, I think that itself is women empowerment. This show is about women of essence, and it's a very interesting area of topic where I think a lot of women out there and also the men out there
All
should be
right.
able to understand what we are talking about, because this is a discussion that needs to be going on constantly. So, what you have
Right.
done here in this space of StreamYard or FB Live itself
All
is
right.
women empowerment. And I think this is what every one of them, women out
All
there,
right.
ladies out there, should start doing. And if I can add that a little bit, right, Yogeshwari, it's about how do
Yes.
you change the world. Let's put it on a larger scale. A lot of times people say that, you know what, you are a single-handed person, you cannot
Right.
change the world single-handedly.
Yes.
I don't believe in that statement. I believe that you can, in fact, change the world in your own way. And world here not
Yes.
necessarily means the universal world, but rather your
Right.
community, your family, your friends,
Yes.
the world where
Right.
you are in. If you are
All
able
right.
to do something differently in order to change your circle of influence, your world, I think you have achieved uh, women empowerment. And the
All
word to be
right.
underlined is the word power. You need to
All right.
really give them the power and be able to understand that every single human being, not
All
men,
right.
women, but everyone has got the power to bring about change unto themselves and also unto
All
others.
right.
But the question is this, Yogeshwari, whether you want to bring
Yes.
about the change or you don't want to.
Yes, exactly. It depends on the men and also the women at the same time. I would say it's also parallel. But when men give the willpower or the support for the women in the existence, I'm sure there will be some motivation and some sort of empowerment there, which actually triggers their willpower to go and break the glass ceiling, the glass door, to become what they want to be, especially those who have the ambitions which is implanted in them, but they cannot achieve that due to some constraints, some discrimination or some sorts of fear for them. They feel that they are not sufficient enough to go out there and achieve what they want. Right. Thank
Yeah,
you, Mr. Warren, about that. How are women different from men in your point of view?
that's a very nice question. Yeah,
Yes.
if you were to ask me, right, I don't see major differences
All
between
right.
men and women, apart from the physical
Right.
bit. Yeah, but it's a lot of times people say men are very logical, very
All
analytical,
right.
and then they say women are more creative, more intuitive. But I have
All right.
seen women who are very logical and analytical. I've also seen men who are very creative, very intuitive. And I'm sure you guys, you have also met people of those kind. Yeah. So this is the thing.
Yes. Of
Gone
course.
are the days where we see differences
Mm-hmm.
in men and women. This goes back to
Right.
the very old fight that was there since day one:
All
nurture
right.
versus nature. You know how
Right.
nature is
Correct.
very genetic, right? It's like how you were
Yes.
wired. And also, nurture is
Right.
about how do you really organically become someone else. due to the
All right.
environment and due to the many things that's happening around you. Therefore, you become someone else. They used to ask this question: leaders, are they born or are they made? Similarly,
All right.
here, women and men are no longer how we see. I have seen women at the very top level of an organization, and I'm sure you guys
All
what you
right.
have seen also. And they are so
Yes.
good that they are able to manage the whole organization.
All
Like
right.
the previous CEO of Pepsi Cola, for instance,
All right.
and many more ladies, many more icons that have changed the world tremendously. So,
Yes.
if you ask me about differences between a man and a woman, right? Um,
Yes.
Besides physical, Yogeshwari, I think both of them are equal.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Warren. You nailed it. You're so empowering. You see, from the speech that I'm hearing from you, so I could feel the vibration, the good positivism, the sensation there that you are actually someone who wants the women to grow, and you're very supportive for that. And I'm very surprised to hear this from the men's perspective. Right, very enterprising. Right, how have you had your personal experience? Can you tell me? Can you share to everyone here, how have you helped in advocating women outside that, advocating in many ways? Do you have some real life experience that you can share with us here?
Yeah, I mean, one of the very real life face to face Yogeshwari would be my wife and my daughter. How
All
I give
right.
them every single space available for them to grow.
All
I've
right.
never stopped them. When I say never stop them, of course, if there are certain things that I feel that they may have to change the way they do, I do that
All
even to
right.
myself. But then the more important is I make them do whatever that they feel they want to do and
All
learn from.
right.
That is very important. For instance, my wife, she wanted to join beauty pageant, and therefore I said, "Hey, please go."
Wow.
And I supported
All
her
right.
100%. I drive her to
Wow.
the place, and I make sure that I buy for her whatever clothes that they want. And to
Wow.
add to that, my daughter
All
also
right.
wanted to go into this beauty pageant, and at one
All
point,
right.
right, Yogeshwari, I actually was I was putting on makeup for my daughter, and there was these
Wow.
few ladies who passed by, and they came to me and they said this one thing: I wish my dad was doing the same thing to me. Now, I'm
Very.
not trying to say that you cannot do as a man, but what I'm saying is it depends on what do you want to give to your family members or to the women that you love most. If you are
Yes.
not there for
All right.
them, then who else? You see, I remember my dad used to say, if you feed a child of others, your own
Yes.
child will grow. This is a very
Right.
famous Indian
Well
proverb.
said.
But this is the thing. What I feel is, if I were to be able to nurture and protect and give all the love to my wife, then
All right.
my daughter will grow eventually. And this is very important. We need to start thinking of that sort. How do you want to bring about the change? You see,
All right.
my wife have left the family members to be with me. If I
All
don't
right.
give her the love that she wants,
All
then
right.
what's the point she got married to me? Likewise,
Yes.
my daughter. I can have a lot of my friends out there, but when I come back home, I'm the
All right.
world for her. So if I am not there for her to nurture her, to motivate her, to inspire her,
All right.
then it defeats the purpose. So that's what I do
All
in
right.
family. But of course, in terms of community,
All right.
you do know that I do a lot of counseling work. Yeah. So when I do
All
counseling
right.
work, there are a lot of ladies out there who calls me, contacts me, and talks to me about how they don't see light at the end of the tunnel. So
All
I
right.
counsel them, and because during the pandemic there were so many ladies who really needed help, what I did
All
was I
right.
started this show. It's called the Waran Shanmugam Show. I think you might
All
have
right.
seen that, yeah,
Yes, yeah,
Yogeshwari.
I saw that.
Yeah, so where I bring in women and men from every part of the world, to speak
All
about their
right.
success story. and
All right.
and this is the one thing that I can do, the very little thing that I can do as a person to bring about
Right.
change to the many ladies out there. Likewise,
Wow.
can you imagine if every other man to just pick up their talent and do something in order to bring about that change to a particular woman, life will be more beautiful.
Yes, it's the advocacy. You know how they are going to plan it out and how they're going to be supportive to their life partner. And what is your advice or a piece of statement for those who are outside there, men outside them, who are unsupportive for the women? I mean, it can be those who are single or married. Yes, as a generic team, we look at
So
generic team.
I would say in a one liner, it may not sound very nice, but this is it. Be a man. Be a man. Being a man means being very gentle. You see, men must be gentle. Men must be loving, protective. Men must
Of
be
course.
there at all times
All
for
right.
everyone, especially a woman. You see, we
All
all have
right.
seen and spoken about how women are like flowers, where you need to
Yes.
really protect them. So if we
Correct.
men are not able to protect them,
All right.
then we are not being a man. That's how I see it. My father have protected my mother and the
All
whole
right.
family in his own
Right.
ways. Of course, during that time, with
All
whatever
right.
knowledge that he have
All right.
taken care of us in that manner.
All
Now
right.
we have got the technology, we have got the knowledge, we have got loads of information out there.
All
But if
right.
you were unable to take care of your loved ones, especially
Yes.
women, then I
Correct.
don't see how a man you are. This
All
is
right.
very important. A man should be there to encourage, to nurture, to pull the string when you see
All
that
right.
they need guidance, but you should
Mm-hmm.
not be violent to them. You can't,
Yes.
because you must understand women are the softer version. We are here, men,
Yes.
because of a woman. We were
Right.
given this by a woman. So, can you imagine how much love, how
So,
much protection you must give to the woman? But if you can't do that, something is
right.
really not right. Go seek for help.
Yes, because when I look at it as a society, men believe that when women want to progress, there will be some beckon for them in terms of the chores, and they find it. It's they call it as a micro patriarchal scope, meaning that they need to do some extra work which the women's supposed to do, and they don't want to take that responsibility, meaning that they say that, oh, I have take the challenges and I am more superior, and you have to listen and you have to follow those, the 80-20 rules which used to be applicated those days. But in this modern era, we are looking at a global scenario. I believe that things has changed, and doesn't mean that women who want to progress, that they want to be independent for the economic growth, they are going to be um, disrespecting men. Because I think when it comes to parallelism, both men and women, when they are given the equalization, equity and equality, things will get better, especially when it comes to a lot of other group in terms of financial, as well as giving the best for the family, and being giving all the specification that they have, the specialty in terms of their education, whatever that they did, they can actually prolong it to the industry or organization, where they can be a source of growth for that productivity of the organization. So in this way, the men feel very challenged. So what is your perception about that, the challenge
Yeah,
part?
yeah. You see, Yogeshwari, this is the thing. Every unit of a particular family is
Yes.
it's very different. It is unique on its own. That means
All
you
right.
cannot set a rule for all families. Yeah, every family has got
All
their
right.
own dynamics. But more important is how do you want to grow
Right.
your family is very important. I remember
All right.
Yogeshwari when my wife was expecting with my first son, right?
All
My
right.
mom was very sick and she was
All right.
far. So
All right.
I didn't have the support from my family members because they were
All
very
right.
far. And
All right.
of course, my wife's side, they were also equally far. So it's
All
just
right.
me, myself, and my wife, and then she was expecting. So what I
All
did back
right.
then was I started Googling and found out what
All
are the
right.
ways to actually take care of my wife. So there was this
All
trimester,
right.
and then the whole lot of how the baby
Understood.
developed. After
All
the
right.
delivery, what do you have to do to your wife? How do you take care? You know, the
All
confinement
right.
period. How do you really take care? No, must not kena water on her leg and all that. How do you make sure that you give
All
the right
right.
food? All those things I learned and I
All
took
right.
care of her. It was
Mm.
not
All
easy,
right.
Yogeshwari, but I
Yes,
wanted
of
to do
course.
it because I love my wife. As simple as that.
Yes. Yeah.
And it depends on what do you
All
want to
right.
do. If you love the relationship, if you want to
All right.
embrace and keep the relationship going, then you need to do
All right.
something about it. A lot of times people used to ask me, why is it always me have to give
All
in
right.
and not my wife? But the question that I
All
ask
right.
them is this: do you respect the relationship? Do you want to
Right.
enhance the relationship? Do you want to keep even the relationship? So if you want
Right.
to, then just do it. It's not about tolerance. When you have got a husband and a wife married or
All
being
right.
together, they become
All
one,
right.
It's very, and I think you know that, right? When they
All
become
right.
one, there is no you and me. It's how do
All
we
right.
grow together. I still wash
Yes, correct.
dishes. I still cook for my wife once in a while. I still
All
wash her
right.
clothes, and it doesn't bother me at all because um, there's nothing to be bothered about. I mean, I don't feel anything because I love her. I don't think that
Yes,
who else would,
correct.
you know what I'm saying? So it's not about looking at people or women especially in a different perspective,
Right.
different angle, but rather look at them as a human being. I think life
All
will be
right.
beautiful.
Yes, meaning that you share the chores to make sure that you guys are helping each other, and she has her time to concentrate on her work and you do
So
as well.
yeah, so if I
Yes.
can,
Balancing,
Yogeshwari, it's not even about
right?
sharing the chores. It's about just doing whatever that you like. I don't even I don't even tell her, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is your work, Thursday, Friday, Saturday is my
Right.
work. No, whenever I see, so she sometimes comes very late after work, and if I
All
see her
right.
tired, I will say, okay, now mind, let me cook, or let me wash the dishes, or let me take care of you. Sometimes I'll just massage her
Right.
hand. So it depends on how do you look at a person and
All
do
right.
what you think you should do because you love someone. It's all goes back to the word
Right.
love. What is love for you? When you love someone, I think you don't ask or look at the differences or who should do what.
Yes, you are speaking in your point of view as a loving man for your wife. But what about those men outside there who don't have these values, meaning that they want, it's like 80-20 kind of rules, meaning that more chores are pushed to the wife and they do have some sort of expectations. So I have come across many women outside there who have complained to me personally, meaning that they have been telling that they have no growth after their marriage, or even when they are single and they are committed to their boyfriends or fiance before they tie the proper knot. They have these barriers where they cannot exit what they want to be in their life. They cannot attain the ambition, or they cannot attain the mission or vision that they had actually put in the checklist plan out for their life. And they
Mm.
had studied so hard. Maybe some of them even have a master's level, but when comes to the um, certain point of that, for the married woman, they had to let go because of this kind of scenario. So in this case, do you I mean, as an overall, I'm sure, like, I'm pretty sure, as I heard from what your speech just now, you are a man who support your wife 100%, and this value is not implemented or implanted for everyone out there. So what is your advice for,
Yeah,
to say that, do women really need men in their life, for those generic term, meaning that not you, I understand you are supportive.
yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, so Yogesh, when I say and speak about myself, I do that because I have seen a lot of men who are like me.
Right. Right.
I have also seen men who are like whatever that you just mentioned just now, the 80-20
Right.
rule, or where the women are not able to achieve their dreams and whatnot. You see, as I mentioned earlier, every
Right.
family has got its own unique way of growing.
Or
There are
priorities.
some, yes, exactly. If you have got a family where the husband and wife have come to a consensus that, you know what,
Right.
I will, as a woman, leave alone my job, my
Right.
education, and I want to make sure that my kids are nurtured accordingly with a lot of love and attention. Now, this
Right.
again, if it is something that was discussed or organically understood, yeah, sometimes you don't talk about it. Sometimes it just happens naturally that,
Right.
the wife says, you know what, I want to stop work. Or the husband says, hey, would you like to, can you stop work and take care of the kids? And if the wife
All right.
agrees, then it grows organically.
That's
That is understanding. This does
yes.
not make a man a bad man,
Yes,
because
correct.
I have seen men dropping everything and say, wife, you go and work. I will be the house husband. I've seen that also.
All right.
So it
Yes,
all
correct.
depends on how do you create your family and what's the goal that
All
you want to
right.
achieve at the end of the day. But
All right.
when one drops the knowledge, the qualification, the best job that they have got
All
down
right.
just for the sake of family, I think that
All
itself
right.
is a beauty, because a
Yes.
woman can do a lot more when they
All right.
are with the child. And this
Correct.
is the beauty. Yeah? We
All
men
right.
can say anything to our children, yeah. But when the
Yes.
mom has got something to say, they put the
That's a
love into
superpower.
it. Yeah, they add extra spices, and the message
Yes.
gets
Correct.
across, not superficial, but very deep down into their heart. This is a
Right.
well-known fact.
Yes,
So
correct.
it all depends on how a family is
Made.
deriving themselves into achieving what they want to achieve in a family unit. So
All
not all
right.
men who are not helping the wife are bad
All
men.
right.
Yeah, it's not.
Yes,
It's just
correct.
that they have got their own ways of doing it. But the more important is, how do you respect the woman that you have
Right.
with you is very important. And the respect may
Yes.
vary from how I have been doing and from
Mhm.
other men who are doing it. Yeah, I'm sure
All
you have
right.
seen some men just don't know how to say, I love you. Someone
All
just
right.
don't hug their wife, but they still love their wife to the utmost. I have
Yes,
seen
correct.
men who are very strong, like who have never uttered a word, yeah, but
All right.
when the wife is sick, they are all there taking care of the
Correct.
wife. So it
Correct.
all depends on how you are as a man, but I think ultimate
Correct.
is to respect a woman. I think that is given.
Yes, that's very important, because that carries the integrity, the dignity, and also to maintain the family institution. Not only that, outside, because the family institution is very important, because when they carry outside, when they go to work, they also exemplify that, because they will bring it to the achievement of the organization, because they are not mentally traumatic. So that's why we have emotional well-being and mental health issues and all these things, because when the women are not shown proper love, affection, and they are abandoned. And also, at times, I do come across, some women have been saying that they are not financially supported well by the men. The men will be earning and they will be stinging in giving them some support, especially when they want to get something that they want for their life or for their children. They have those limitations because of the financial constraint that has been set by the men. So what happens is they will feel very disappointed. They will feel very uneasy when it comes to the family life because they feel that they deserve better and quality life for their children as well as themselves. So this part has to be taken into consideration. The accountability is so much important, and they are married and they are expected to do what like their grandmother is doing those days, which is not applicable nowadays. This is what many women have been telling me. So at one point I feel they are so much discriminated and they are not having the quality of life that they actually deserve. So what is your advice to this kind of scenario out there?
Yeah, so if I may, I have seen so many of this type of cases, Yogeshwari, like how you have just mentioned, and it's a very sad scene here when you have
Yes,
got someone who wants to follow through the culture of whatever that
yes,
their parents or their grandparents have gone
yes,
through. Therefore, you must also do the same thing.
yes,
I think
correct.
gone are the days like Yogeshwari, yeah, that
Yes,
you are a woman, I'm a man, I'm the dominant one, you have to follow whatever that I say. Those are not applicable
yes, I
anymore.
agree.
Yeah, it's you need to give these women whom you love some sense of
Right,
respect. I think it goes back to respect. It is very
right,
important. And if you could see, right, the men out there when they want to do this type of behavior, or if you want to be this type of a person, you need to really think
correct,
back as to how you would feel if you are treated that way. You see, life is very
yes,
simple. Before you take on any position, you need to be a
right,
human first. And
yes.
human
We have
means
to
you
have
have got
that humanity.
exactly how you are behaving. You see, if I were to
Right,
say that I have never fought with my wife, I will be the biggest liar. I have fought. But what I'm saying is this:
right,
anger,
of course.
sadness, happiness, excitement, agitation, all these are
Right,
human nature. You
right,
can go through this process. You can get angry once in a while. You can get sad. You can be happy. You can go through all this. But the more
right,
important question is, what do you do after that? Once you get
yes,
angry, you
correct,
have said certain words, you have
right,
hurt another person, you may say sorry, you may
right,
go and comfort the person. Now, the
right.
reason why you do that is because you respect and cherish the relationship.
Yes,
Now,
respect
if
is
you,
ultimately important.
exactly, and if you do that many times, right, Yogeshwari, sometimes even if you want to say something bad or if you want to hurt someone, you won't feel that you want to hurt someone anymore because you know what are the consequences. Every
Right,
action has got its own reaction, has got its own consequences. So therefore,
right,
you wouldn't do that anymore. That's the reason why you have to be human first. To be angry
yes,
is
correct,
normal, but what do you do after that is important. So once you are human, then
all
you be
right,
the father, you be the
yes,
husband, you be the CEO, you be the teacher, you
yes,
be anything
correct,
else. But if you
all right,
cannot be a human, right, and
all
you
right,
want to be a CEO, and then you
correct,
bring the CEO policy back home, then
yes,
where is the family in you? So we
yes,
can advise these people as to not to do that.
all
But
right,
ultimately, it should come within you, Keswari. It all
all
depends
right.
on how do you want to bring about that change.
All right. Mr. Warren, there's one more question that I want to shoot here regarding that. When it comes to economy, when it comes to certain sectors, especially in our, job sectors, the scopes and all that, women are discriminated, meaning that they are not given opportunities out there in terms of economy, meaning that technical part, at times, women can do similar, meaning that they can do same level as men. But looking at that, superior or the peers up there, they're not giving the opportunity for the women to take that responsibility or that particular competency area and progress. So what is your advice, what is your perspective about this?
Yeah, so this is one thing, especially in human resources, right? There are certain areas, there are certain policies where
Right.
they actually provide a salary scale which are very different from male and female, and then the
Yes.
job scope,
All
the
right.
job opportunities,
All
the
right.
feedback, the assessment, everything is gender bias, so to speak. Yeah, I think
All
the
right.
policy makers of a particular organization
All
or
right.
even the stakeholders need to sit down and think about how best they can actually bring about somewhat equality in gender so
All
that
right.
this will be practiced in an organization. This is
All right.
really going back to policymakers. I
All
remember
right.
being in the US. I was in LA,
Right.
and how we were having a conversation with
All right.
a bunch of ladies
All
in
right.
human resources. And this is what they say, Yogeswari. They said,
All
when I
right.
spoke about, tell me a little bit about gender equality in your organization.
All
And
right.
they were stunned to hear this. They said, gender equality, people don't talk about that anymore. Now, this
Oh,
is very interesting.
right.
In places like Europe and Europe for that matter has got a
Right.
lot of policies here on gender
Mm-hmm.
equality and gender equity. Why? Because they want to make sure that everyone, a
All right.
person with
All right.
talent, is given the right scale of salary, right
All right.
accreditation, and they are acknowledged and given the
All
same
right.
what do you call appreciation accordingly. And this is very important, which I think in the Asian country we are still not there yet for
All
whatever
right.
reason. I think we need to really go back and think about how do we bring about this message across. Now, if you're
All
an
right.
employee or in an organization, if
All
you
right.
see these differences, you
All right.
can actually go back to your stakeholders,
All
your
right.
management leadership team, for that
All right.
matter, and speak about this because this is not how things are supposed to be done anymore. We are
All
not
right.
in that age anymore. We have come to a
Yes.
place where everyone, men
All right.
or women, can do everything.
All right. Oh, that's great to hear. So there was a case when I was looking at some research happened in Africa country. There was a case they had this pipeline problem. So they were calling this women vendor to come in because they have those expertise which they already learned. They are specialized in that. But when they want to come, the sector actually provoked and they stopped the women from coming and helping out with that particular job specification. They said that that particular expertise should be given to men instead. So this is a total way of pushing them out. So, and then when there was certain authority which comes in, then when the men needs the women, and then when they come in, the women come in, they manage to solve that problem very quickly compared to them alone, the men alone doing it. So I believe the growth of the economy can be done with the proper scale when you identify the women's ability, when they can specialize and put their effort or their niche into something that they can solve for men. So
Yeah.
if this happens, a lot of things can grow better
I
and
think
they won't be. Yeah. Yes, what
I
is
think
your.
that is the best example that you have given, Yogeshwari, that
All right.
women are not equally talented.
All
Sometimes
right.
they are much better than men. And this is the thing, you see, this shows very clearly that you can never have
All
a
right.
gap on gender. There cannot be men only can do this or women only can do this.
All
This
right.
is not the case anymore. Ladies are
All
now
right.
pilots and captain. They fly the whole aircraft.
All right.
Why do you then have to worry about gender inequality. It is
Yes.
so
Correct.
it doesn't make any sense at all.
All
Everyone,
right.
if you are talented, you are able to do it. So like the
All
case in
right.
Africa, I think the more important is now we have got a lot of NGOs and a lot of units or bodies
All right.
who advocates on women empowerment and women
All right.
equality. I think
All right.
the more important is how do you then reach out to these NGOs
All
and
right.
seek for help. Even the
All
United
right.
Nations, for that matter, have got so many policies
All
on
right.
gender equality,
All right.
and we need to really start advocating this. And
All
at
right.
one point, we should not be talking about this anymore
All right.
because, as I said earlier, and you clearly also mentioned that men are women, there is no difference at all. What a man
Right.
can do, a woman can eventually do. You just
Right.
need to give them the space, the
All
knowledge,
right.
the experiences,
Yes.
and they will do wonders. That I believe.
Correct. The supportive men out there who are going to mold and give the space and some motivation, encouragement for them
Correct.
to
And
grow.
if I may, yeah, Yogeshwari, it's yes, men who needs to be supportive. At some point of time, women as together
All
must
right.
also be able to support each other. See,
Yes.
when I was young, I was in a Chinese school.
All
So
right.
all of them were Chinese. I was the
All
only
right.
black Indian boy. Can you imagine the amount of bullying and everything that I went through? It was tremendous, yeah.
Understood.
But that was back then. But
All
as
right.
yeah, but as I grow, right, I
All
had
right.
a Chinese boy who
All
was
right.
1 year elder, but he was in the same classroom for whatever reasons, yeah. And he
All
was the
right.
only one who was there supporting me from day one till I graduated standard six.
Wow.
He's
Excellent.
still a good friend of mine. He's a Chinese, but it takes only one person to be with you, to be the listening person, to be supportive, to be standing by
All
you.
right.
Not for a fight, but just to stand by you and say, you know what? Don't
Yes.
worry, you will be fine.
Oh,
Don't worry,
that's
you
inspiring.
are good. Yeah, exactly, right? So this is what we want. If you see that another woman
All
or
right.
another lady or another person who is suffering in any ways,
All right.
they feel that they are not good. They feel that their goals are not achievable. They feel that
All right.
they are bullied big time. Be
All
there
right.
for them as another person.
All
Women
right.
can also support another woman, and
Absolutely
I have
true.
seen they
Absolutely
grow
true. I
much bigger.
agree.
Yeah,
I agree with you because women can have those space, those kind of intimation with another women, and they don't feel intimidated. They don't have. They will feel that there's a comfortable zone there for them to speak and share some problems and some ideas for them to grow together, and also like do teamwork and so on. So this kind of women are also very precious besides men. So
so if I can quote, Biki
yes.
Nair is doing this.
Yes, of course, she does. She's very
How she
inspiring.
is always supportive of whatever
Of
that you are doing.
yes,
The many ladies out there, it's just amazing. Yeah, and this is what we
yes,
want. If you think that the
right,
men are somewhat not supportive, well,
yes,
grow together, group
yes,
together and grow together. Don't tarnish or kill the men, yeah, but grow together
yes.
as women.
Correct, correct. Of course, we believe as a woman, we won't be tarnishing the men or whatsoever. But as a perspective here, we just as a woman, we want the men to support women in such a area so
Yeah.
that there won't be any discrimination, as how women will be supporting women. If men is also in the picture, there can be a tremendous results out there, so the outcome will be wonderful. But of course, like what you say, Bikina is one of the inspiring person for me, and she is very motivating, and yeah, I would like to send all the love for her.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one more question for you.
Yes.
When we talk about what is gender mainstreaming in your point of view? Gender mainstreaming.
Okay, so
in terms
gender
of
mainstreaming.
policies.
Yeah, so gender mainstreaming is very much into the policy making. So it's about how you integrate the gender equality
Yes,
into the policy making. If you are talking
yes,
about, say, achieving a design
all right,
for a company, a
all right,
structure, and all this. So,
all
how do
right,
you put in gender equality into the many things that you do in an
all right,
organization or even a country as a whole? So this is
all
very
right,
important. Again, if you have heard, there is this thing called SDG 5,
all right,
Sustainable Development Goal 5 in the European continent, whereby they use these elements to make sure that they focus on gender equality,
all
to
right,
use it for the many areas of work. And this
all
is
right,
what happens when you have got these policies in
all right,
place.
all right,
Then you will be able to get much better organized
correct,
association, organization, community, and also a country as a whole.
all
But
right,
the only issue right here, Yogeshwari, is that when you have
all
got
right,
gender mainstreaming,
all
they,
right,
they always have got this one vacuum where you don't have people to
all right,
monitor, people to manage. So
correct,
because you don't have someone or a group of people to really make sure that these things are taken care of,
all
the
right,
gender mainstreaming becomes somewhat a failure. So that's why
right,
it's very important that when someone is into gender mainstreaming, where you
mm-hmm.
have got policies that you are doing, you need to make sure that there is a sustainability in it,
All
or
right,
else it will become a failure. So
all right,
something to really think about. But again, something which is very important, that will
all right.
bridge the gap between the genders.
All right. Okay, excellent answer. Especially implementing those policies must come from the certain countries' authorities. So when they implement it correctly, so this gender mainstreaming will be taken into action effectively. So that's how things can take it into action. Yeah, yeah, Mr. Warren, thank you about this answer. And why is um, some things happen, like why is it important to take gender concerns into account program design? Sometimes you want to design a program, you want to implement the program. Why gender concerns has to come in?
Yeah, so if I can talk about gender equality and
All right,
gender equity, yeah,
right,
it's about how do you create
all right,
fairness. That's
all
very
right,
important. How do you treat someone with fairness? Now,
all right,
like for instance, the females, they have
mhm,
got maternity leaves.
all
You
right,
have got 2 months or 3 months now, depending. Some companies advocate 6 months. Why? Because
all right,
there is a reason for it.
all right,
And then you have got paternity leave for
all right,
men whose
all
wife
right,
is delivering, and
mm-hmm,
sometimes it differs. I have seen
right,
1 day, 3 days, 1 month,
all right,
sometimes equal time as the maternity leave. So it all
yes,
depends on how do you want to make sure that
all right,
one is better than the
mm-hmm,
other. And it's
yes,
all because of fairness,
all
because
right,
the women have got certain things that they can do, they cannot do,
all right,
and they need.
all
Therefore
right,
you need to change it in accordance to what they need to have. If
all
you
right,
don't, then it becomes very vague, very difficult. It's like, if you give a stool, right?
all
Say
right,
if you give the same size of stool
all
for
right,
2 or 3 person whose
all right,
height are different, it
mm-hmm, all
won't
right,
make sense if you ask them to pluck a fruit from the tree. The
all right,
same size of stool, if you have
all
got
right,
someone who is shorter and the other one who is taller,
all
obviously the
right,
shorter will not even get it
all
because
right,
the stool is same size. So
all right,
fairness here means you need to have a higher stool for the shorter person so that
all right,
he or she too can achieve by
yes,
plucking the fruit. So changing of the size of the stool
All
is
right.
fairness, and hence
All
there
right.
should be the necessity of putting in gender equality
All right.
into designing a program, designing
All right.
a module is so essential. If you don't do that,
All
then
right.
you won't be achieving the goal. It's very important. It's like if you
All
have got
right.
a module on leadership,
All
if you
right.
want to teach the CEOs,
All
then you
right.
have to make sure that you speak for the CEOs. Then, if you want to
Yes.
speak about
Correct.
leadership for Form 5 students, if you
All
were to
right.
use the same module and teach
Cannot.
the Form 5, it won't work.
It
Similarly,
won't
here,
work. Right.
you need to be very cautious and conscious when you are designing or implementing a module or a program. Why?
All
Simply
right.
because you
Actually,
want to make sure that it reaches the outcome should be achieved. For that to happen, fairness must be there. For that, you
all
need to
right.
make sure that you take care of these areas.
Excellent answer, Mr. Warren. Excellent. One more thing. I want to ask about how is it going to be balancing for women in terms of managing work, family, as well as their personal care. In aesthetics. Yeah. How are the men going to support in that particular terms?
Yeah,
Three
so
aspects. Yeah.
I remember the CEO of Pepsi
Right.
Cola back then. I think Indra, her name. Yeah,
Indra Noy. Indra
yeah,
Noy.
Indra.
Yeah.
Indra went back home.
All right.
She received a call saying that she is now the
Mm-hmm.
CEO of Pepsi. So what
All
she
right.
did, she went back home.
All right.
When she opened the door, the first person who was there was the mother.
All
So,
right.
so she went and told the mother, she said, Ma, I'm now, good news, I got this news that I am now the CEO of Pepsi.
All right.
And the mother said, well, very good. Can you now
All
go to
right.
the kitchen and prepare food for your family? And
All
she
right.
was shocked. She said, I'm now the CEO. So this is
All
what the
right.
mother said. You can be the CEO outside,
Yes,
but in
of
this
course.
house, you are my daughter, you are the mother for
Exactly.
your children.
Well said.
Lovely, beautifully said. And this is
Yes.
what it is to simplify the answer to the question that you've just posted just now, Yogesh,
Okay,
is
but
this.
when we are talking about, for example, you speak about Indra Nooyi, the CEO of PepsiCo, right? She may have the burnout feeling, meaning that when she's back home, probably she's really worn out with the office chores, and when she's back, she couldn't cope with whatever chores that is in the house.
Yes.
So, like this kind is like and as well as personal life. Sometimes there will be some trauma issues in the office, and they may carry it back for home. So,
Mhm.
how to resolve this?
So it depends on, it goes back to the very simple question, what do you want in life?
Right. Yes, of
If
course.
you
It's a
want to be,
balancing act.
exactly. So if you want to maintain as the CEO, then
All
you
right.
have to face the challenges. The
All
challenges for
right.
her would be
All
because
right.
she's a wife, she has to
All
be
right.
because she has got a husband, she has to be the wife. Because she has
All
got
right.
children, she has to be the mother. Because she has got a mother, she has to be a child. And then because she has got an employee, then she has to be
All
the
right.
boss. And there are many roles that she needs to play to be
All right.
there. And if she wants
All
to
right.
be the best CEO, then she
All
had
right.
to work extra harder. See, that's the beauty. Talent
Yes.
without
Correct.
hard work is nothing. Talent
Yes.
without hard work is nothing. Because
Is
she
nothing.
put a
Correct.
lot of effort, and remember this, yeah, a woman can do all this. I don't know whether a man can do this or not, but a woman can do all this. I'm getting goosebumps when I say this. Why? Because when y'all can do
All
all
right.
this, why then y'all are not doing whatever that y'all are doing? Y'all can do,
All
y'all
right.
want to do in life. You are more than what you
All
think you
right.
are. That's very important. So
So
it
basically, you like to say that women are multitasker.
Exactly, right? So
All
if you are
right.
a multitasker, that means it's a given gift. Then
Yes.
the question is, do you want to use it or not? So
All right.
if Indra were to say, you know what, being a CEO and then taking care of my children will
All right.
be not a good thing. I want to let go of
Right.
CEO. She could have, but she did not. She can
All right.
also say, hey, I want to be the best CEO, but I want to neglect my family because I don't have time for them. I need to make
Right.
sure I become the CEO. She can also do that, but she did
All
not.
right.
She was there for the children every time
All
when
right.
they were to give a call from different parts of the world. Yeah, that
Right.
mommy, I have got this problem. She's always there listening to their voices,
All
and
right.
yet she's able to manage the company. I'm just giving one example here about Indra, and if she can
All
do
right.
that, the many women out there can do this too. It all depends on what do you
Exactly.
want in life. If you want to achieve more, then do so. If you want to
You have
do
to
very
put
little, then do so.
prioritize.
Yes, but the more important is this:
Priorities.
whether you
Prioritize.
want, yes, whether you want or you don't want, because
Right.
everyone, every ladies can do much, much more than what they think they can achieve.
All right. What is your perception? Okay, let's say the lady is much inspired to balance the family as well as the progress in her job. But there are some mental blocks, meaning that from the family members, they don't want her to progress. They want her to be stagnant just for their security, just for their needs. So they want to make the women to just don't grow like that. Those kind of selfish kind of intention, the mental blocks of
Yeah.
the family members. Yes. What is your opinion about this?
Yeah, I remember having this a friend of mine who
You're
is
right.
yeah, who's a female
All right.
and sorry.
Yes. Proceed.
Yeah,
Proceed.
so
I'm
who's a
listening.
sorry, yeah, so who is
All
a
right.
female, and she was working as a teacher,
All right.
and then she quit her job. She became
All
a
right.
lawyer,
All
and
right.
she's now a very good lawyer. And then
All
she
right.
was struck by breast cancer, and she had
Oh.
to
All right.
go through chemotherapy, and
All right.
now she is cancer free,
All right.
and she have just enrolled herself
Mm-hmm.
into bachelor's of psychology.
All right.
Teacher, lawyer, cancer
All right.
patient, and now she is studying psychology. She is
All right.
70 years old, Yogeshwari.
Wow. All
So
right.
again, the question is this: what do you want in life? I know the
Yes.
whole world can come against you. The whole world
Right.
can put you to the wall and say, you know what? This is all that you are. But
Right.
with proper mindset, with determination,
Exactly.
with a lot of effort,
All right.
in that one thing in life, which is
All right.
passion towards what you want to become, is good enough
All right.
to move on and do whatever that you think you want to do.
Exactly. I agree.
Time can be different, but you can fulfill your dreams. I have seen wives talking to the husbands for the many years that they want to study something, and
All right.
eventually the husband understood and
All
gave
right.
way. So there is no right or wrong to this, but you need to persevere. You need to take that little effort, or sometimes a lot more effort. I remember
All
telling
right.
my son that you need to study hard, but
All right.
it's not like I tell him, hey, study hard, and then he studies hard. No, it is like he's
All
now
right.
21 years old now, but for the
All right.
longest time, I have been telling him to study hard. And I'm still
All
saying
right.
the same thing. So, what I'm trying to
All
say
right.
is, this is what we have to do. You have to persevere. You have to really constantly doing whatever that you're doing,
All
and
right.
hope that one day you will achieve whatever you want to achieve.
All right. That's an amazing answer. Right. So, what is your advice for the society out there? It can be, women or men. Last piece of advice before we, end the session.
What you have
What
is
is
enough.
it?
What you have is enough. That's
Right.
the advice that I would want all of you to take back. What you have is
All right.
enough. There were some young boys who said to me that, you know what, I don't have money, but I want to go to the gym because I want to build my
Right.
muscle. I said, what you have is
Right.
enough. Your body is your weight. You, if you want, you can do a lot of things. You can do pumping, you
All
can
right.
jump, you can, if you don't have a skipping rope, you can still
All
skip
right.
without the rope. There are many things that you
Right.
can do with whatever that you
Yes.
have. Be
Exactly.
happy with what you have. Some will
Yes.
say, I want 2 cars.
All right.
Some will say, I want to have a bungalow with 7 rooms. You know
All
what?
right.
What you have is enough. Never compare yourself with another person,
Correct.
because it is not apple to apple. You know, our DNAs differ. You know, our
Correct.
everything, yeah, our retina, everything else differs. When you are
Correct.
not the same with yet another person in this whole wide world, how can you
Right.
compare? So it's
Right.
stop comparing. Keep your whatever dreams to whatever that you want to achieve, and whatever that
Correct.
you have at home is enough.
Yes. That means we must be happy, contented with what we have, and live within the means. That is
Yes.
that is the moral of the story. And
Yes.
for the men outside them, please support the women in terms of their growth, in terms of their emotion, physically, mentally, as well as other part of financial. Because when you do that, the support of the women for you one fine day will be tremendous, and that not only happen for your growth, also for the economy outside there, the
Yeah.
productivity of any organization.
Exactly. So I
Yes.
remember, I don't know how many of them are God believers. I believe in God, Yogeshwari, and I always want to
Correct.
be like God. I cannot be God, but I want to be a
All
little
right.
bit like God. So if you could
All right.
see everything, like
Yes.
everything from God's
All
eye
right.
view, I think you will
All
start
right.
loving everyone. If you
Yes.
cannot,
Correct.
if you can see everyone with much love, you cannot
Right.
differentiate anymore. You don't see inequality anymore, and life will be
Right.
very beautiful for you and people
Yes.
around you.
Correct. I totally agree with you, Mr. Waran Shanmugam. Excellent topic today. You have actually nailed that women definitely can help. Men definitely can help women to grow, not only in terms of their own family, but also they can empower them to be out there to work. And it's like work-life balance, balancing everything so that everything will come into shape. So this is an awesome session, and I would like to thank you so much, Mr. Warren, to be present here and give a lot of insights, a lot of resources about empowering women in men's perspective, which is very much needed at this point of time. So if this can happen, there won't be many divorce cases, there won't be many dissatisfaction, there won't be suicidal, there won't be a break off, there won't be, family um, running away and all these things. So ended up with a lot of love and a lot of understanding, a lot of support that men can give to the women in their life, whoever it regardless. So that will be extremely empowering motivation for the femininity. We are not talking more on the feminism, but we want the same equality. We call it as equity, which can brings to equality as well as which can lead to empowerment. Right. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Mr. Warren, and
Yeah.
thank you for
On
your time, and thank you to be an example to the world outside there.
Thank you, Yogeshwari. On that same note, right, I would like to greatly thank BK Nair Resources for
Yes.
having me in this platform. And Yogeshwari, I think you are doing a tremendous job here. I think for those who are watching,
Thank you.
please follow through Yogeshwari's Facebook page. She does a lot of things. She helps a lot of people. The training modules are fantastic. And if you need help at any point of time, you want to grow with Yogeshwari and with BKNI resources, because I think you guys are doing a lot of good work out there. The very fact that you are doing this itself is a major impact to the many people out there. If not many, at least if you have touched one person, and I'm sure that you have touched, if not anyone out there, I'm very definite you have touched me, because with this effort, people can live yet a better life. So thank you so much, BKNI Resources, and thank you so much, Yogeshwari, for having me.
All right. Thank you so much, BKNI Resources as well, and thank you, Mr. Warren, to be present here and share all the wonderful, a lot of tips for empowerment of women, which is much needed nowadays. Thank you so much.
You're most
All
welcome.
right.
Take care. Bye bye.
Okay. All right. Bye.